Isn't it funny that the majority of people out there who have cracked the code about women are men? Like Aaron Clary, Alexander Grace, better bachelors out there doing it. There are some really old school Sandman, old school MGTOW red pill content creators. But even Esther Vilar back in the 70s was cracking the code about what we're all about and what we're doing. But honestly, right now, I think the one who is shedding light on what we're doing the most is a man who goes by the name Homath. I think I've learned so much from him with his charts and his explanations. He's really contributing to society. I wish it was mandatory for men to watch Homath videos. I think it would be a real eye-opener. So today we're going to look at a few of his shorter videos because they're just brilliant, but also very revealing about us. And what I like to do is add my female perspective on answering some of the questions like, why? But why did they think that? He's good at knowing what we think. But I can fill in a little bit like how we get there. Because a brain like his, it's going to be even harder in a way for him to understand whatever's going on up here. So, and I threw in the last video of his. It's more recent, but it had me rolling. So I can't wait to show you guys that. If you haven't seen it already, I've watched it about 50 times. So welcome back to Far From Eden. One of the things that seems to me to be the hardest for men to grasp is our ability to delude ourselves. And yes, I have done the wider screen, stuck it over here so that we could see Lola because we need the therapy, I think, when dealing with this. It's just...
I can't wait till the situationship era is over.
I have bad news for you about the situationship era. That is, of course, where a man will be with you for now because it's bad.
Okay, we have to see his charts and his drawings because isn't that why we're here, as well as his genius analysis? Yes, it is. So y'all know how it goes with me. There, we'll just start here.
It's over.
I have bad news for you about the situationship era. That is, of course, where a man will be with you for now because it's better than nothing, but not good enough to keep you and also not bad enough that he wants to get rid of you right away. Some women still believe that situationships are the same thing as almost getting married.
That's true. Some women still think. I cannot imagine where a woman is honestly in a situationship and knows it and does not think that she's going to win, that she's not the most important. I just think that they always think that that's a step to, getting that. Or another way she might think of it is, well, I'm not ready for all that right now. I'm just enjoying myself. But guarantee you, she thinks that if she was ready for that right now, she could just have it. Because generations of women now, probably ever since Disney started reinventing the way what fairy tales are actually for, women have believed that they can have what they want, that they can have what they deem they deserve. And I know you guys are like, yeah, I get that. But I don't think you understand the massive scale and the generations of women that literally believe this. If I wanted that, I could have that. I heard that in middle school. If I wanted him, I could have him. I heard that in middle school when I was 12 years old. This is ingrained in us.
This is usually not the case. So first of all, situationships, which usually feel this way for you and this way for him, when they get to this point, they usually end this way.
When they get to this point, I think it's when she finally asks it. I think this is the majority. I'm speaking generally. I think up until that point, she's assuming she knows where we are. When she decides to ask, where are we? It's because she has decided we're not moving forward. He's not showing it like he was. He's not continuing to increase his attention he gives to me, or the gifts he gives, or the dates. It's like it's not going up. You've basically maxed him out. He is maxed out on what he's prepared to give you, invest in you, what have you, for whatever he's getting in return. And at this point, she's going to say, but wait a second, but where are we? And it's a demand. It's demand. Where are we is, hey, you're not doing what I expected you to do based on this crap I made up in my head as we've been going along. So what do you have to say for yourself?
And then your sadness goes into the dating pool that we all have to swim in. And they very seldom end this way, which is what you are aiming for. And you have my sympathy. This is no fun. This estimate, by the way, was given to...
It is no fun. And you know what? It's going to sound so cruel. You don't have my sympathy. You don't have my sympathy. There is a reason why we had rules in place in society at one point in time where you just weren't promiscuous. Because here's the thing. If we are not promiscuous, we can't get ourselves into a situationship. It's impossible. You cannot get into a situationship if you're like, no, I'm going to remain a virgin. It's impossible. So if you have been promiscuous and basically slept your way into a situationship, why is it all his fault? Somebody answer me that question. Why is it his fault then? When you have just basically used your body to try to extort some type of emotion and feelings and whatever from him, and then assign it to him, and then get mad at him when your assignment of his feelings and his intentions doesn't pan out. And that's when you're ready for the situationship era to be over.
Me by an expert. I didn't just make it up. And I agree with you. We are in this era. The I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 weeks era. I said this exact line to so many women, and I was so full of shit. I knew exactly where I wanted to be with someone else. So here's the bad news. The situationship era is only going to stop existing either when women start resisting the urge to roll the dice on this.
That's a very interesting way to put it. When women stop, I don't know, spreading it for everybody, being promiscuous. When you stop offering yourself up to every man because of whatever reasons you give yourself that justify it, that will stop it. Women, the situationship did not become a thing until women were widely promiscuous. We used to hold that moral responsibility, back when we were told we had no power, we had no voice. We absolutely did. Now, well, we have a voice. It's a different voice. It's a more of a Jessica Rabbit type voice. It's promiscuity and do as thou wilt, and sexual liberation is somehow freedom and empowerment. Well, you've empowered your way right into situationships. How does it feel?
Or number two, when civilization degrades to the point that that behavior becomes too risky. Like right now, if you end up here, you have a lot of baby removal options and government support. And if those things were not there, women might require more commitment first, more investment, more of this good guy stuff, security.
And if we brought shame back, that might help.
And if we are having a race between getting people to resist their lower urges, the things that they want, and society collapsing, my bet is on the apocalypse. People are very bad at resisting their lower urges, especially these people for some reason. I guess life is just hard in Michigan.
I feel like this lasting for the last couple years in our generation, and I'm tired of that.
Oh, it's been going more than a couple years, and this is just my life. I think it's been like this since the 60s. This is my interpretation of...
Weird. Jeez, what happened in the 60s that would have led to where we are now? Oh, yeah. Sexual liberation. That's exactly what happened. And it has only devolved and devolved. And I think Homath knows all this that I'm saying. Probably, I don't know, holds back. I don't want to, assign anything, but maybe it doesn't get, it's not as widely appealing to tell people female promiscuity is going to lead to the fall of the West entirely. Isn't it funny that we have more female promiscuity ever in the history of the West, and the West is having a massive population crisis with the birth rate? Isn't that weird? Well, widely produced birth control, fetus deletus, that all happened early 70s, late 60s. But the women are mad that they're in situationships. Hello? This is a consequence. You might want to look it up in the dictionary, ladies.
5 minutes after birth control was invented.
It's like everybody just want to be in a situationship, and I just don't want that for me.
Well, good then, you found your solution. Don't be in them. Don't be in relationships that are secretive. Look for a guy who wants to be seen with you as much as possible, who gives you investment and commitment. We are not going to end the situationship era, but you can end your situationship era by not trying to get from here to here. After all, it usually doesn't work and it isn't very fun.
It doesn't make you feel good. They hurt worse than a real relationship.
Yeah, because you're trying to force it into one. In a real relationship, it's both ways. Situationship, it's just you trying to convince a guy who can be with several women at one time, which a lot of men, most men are overlooked by women entirely. What you want, lady, you don't want the situationship era to end. You want one of those guys to pick you and you only. But she's not going to say that.
Treating it like y'all together. Then as soon as you mention commitment, they running up the street. Then when it's over, they pretend like you was nothing. I felt something. So I know your ass felt something.
That's where you're going wrong. You might feel like this about him because you are attracted, but he's not really committing, while he might feel like this about you. Not very attached and only moderately attracted, especially if he's not showing you off in public.
Now, talk about him being secretive, whatever. Seems like she was pretty secretive about her intentions from the get-go. How's he supposed to know she's looking for something more? How's he supposed to know she isn't just looking for the same thing he's looking for? If you're putting out right away, what does that communicate to a man? Does that communicate wife material? Does that communicate any kind of, character? No, it doesn't. You are telling him who you are by your actions. And when you're putting out right away, you're telling him you're a certain type of woman. Sorry if you don't like it. It's just true. But we don't like truth.
It's just all just left in the air. And I just personally don't like the feeling like you don't have closure, you don't have peace. It's just not a good thing. Like mentally, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. You're not alone.
I'm telling y'all, Matt, you guys need to freaking get it together. I want a family. I want kids. And you guys suck. Do I have to marry someone twice my age because y'all little boys act like little children?
I wonder why nobody really wants to be with her. Weird. It's weird.
I would rather be stuck on a deserted island all by myself for the next 20 years than be with another man! Why is it every man I choose, they're all different, but they're all the same?
They all have the same common denominator, and it's you.
It's because the way that we choose has changed. Every guy wants to be up here, or thinks he is, and every girl wants to be with a guy up here, and there's not enough to go around, and there's nothing stopping everyone from trying to trade up. And there are entire industries based on convincing you can trade up. They go, look at all these people who want you. But it's not really true, but
No.
you think it is, because if you see a guy over and over again, it's probably because you want him to pick you. And don't listen to this I don't know what's gonna happen sort of thing. That's how you avoid this.
I literally hate men!
We threw all the rules out the window, so unfortunately, avoiding this is now up to you.
It always was. It always was up to us. The problem is, when we got permission, we just didn't hold back. Nope, it was burn your bras time. That's what it was. So let's see the next one. Remember what I said about delusional? I'm going to attempt to explain how she gets there, because it's a huge jump, but I'm going to try and explain it best I can.
So did I. I put together an analysis for you.
Given the perfect conditions and circumstances.
Oh, I didn't go that far. I assumed the conditions were that you offered.
Okay. First one, y'all are going to be like, what the heck? No way.
Let me stop you right there. Nobody is going to be like, no way. This is very likely to happen. Let me show you my list. So this is diagram number 1. This is a pie chart. So of all of the male celebrities that there are that you could pull, this is 100% of those. And then over here, I have a pie chart. So this section is all of the male celebrities in blue, and then over here would be all of the willing male celebrities to be pulled by you in blue. This is Zones, my relationship chart. So when you say pull, you're referring to a short-term, non-public relationship that does not require positive levels of attachment.
I don't think that's what she thinks she's referring to. I don't think so. And here's why. Because most women do not understand these categories that men have. They just don't. They think, well, if he wants me, he wants me. And then I get to decide kind of where it goes from there. And if it's not going where I want it to, then I go, where are we? Like we said in the previous video.
And when you say celebrity, you mean someone who is very high status. And as you can see here, men of high status are likely to have lower quality relationships with women of a pretty broad range. And you are pretty good looking. So it's highly believable that you could fall within this range and follow one of these non-green lines to end up here, corresponding to the bottom, or at best the bottom of the middle section on Zones. So I think everyone on your list would be believable.
She would take that as a huge insult. That is not what she thinks pulling is, honestly. It is not.
Let's hear it anyway.
Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to put it out there. Okay, you'll have to hear my reasoning.
No, I won't.
I'm like low-key talking to this French guy who looks really similar to Timothy Chalamet. He's like,
Low-key talking to this French guy. Is he all the way in France? You're low-key talking to him. Isn't that like below a sweeper? What are you talking about? You guys gonna say crazy eyes?
a Timothy Chalamet lookalike. So I feel like that's instilled something in my subconscious that if I can pull a Timothy Chalamet lookalike.
Have you pulled a Timothy Chalamet lookalike? Because you're low-key talking to one. How many chicks do you think that guy is talking to? It might even not be, you could be getting catfish. What are you talking about? Because you can get some dude in France, I'm guessing he's in France, which she's adding because she thinks it's like a higher status or something. I mean, wouldn't he also want a green card? But that's beside the point. You think because you can get a French guy to low-key talk to you, that this means that you can pull the celebrity that he kind of sort of looks like? And I know by pull, she does not mean, you think these women like dream of like getting married to or being with like for long-term relationships. It's not like guys who would be like, oh man, I bet I could get her some celebrity, right? They're not talking about like get married to. We have very different definitions. So let's let her continue with her reasoning.
Like, I can also pull actually Timothée Chalamet.
I don't know where to begin with why that's wrong. Timothée Chalamet is not going to be evaluating your subconscious belief about whether or not you can get him. He's going to be evaluating what he can see.
That's what she thinks. She thinks that all of this equals to this guy, and this guy is close to this guy. Therefore, all of this will also get this guy. And female logic. That's what she thinks.
Let me show you the math. Timothée Chalamet is going to look at you and he's going to go, does she look good enough to be in this zone? And then he's going to go, yep. He isn't going to make it to any of these other boxes. They're not necessary. You have enough points here to get in here.
Okay, that's not the only reason. Like, I feel like I can also kind of work that like token straight theater kid. Like, you know, he was kind of like a former theater kid. Like, I feel like I can kind of work that angle and like really like use my wrist to get in there.
That's all this stuff. You're badly overthinking this. Look decent.
Oh, that doesn't sound like women. Overthinking? Well, you have to overthink it if you need to justify some type of a delusion. Once again, this is how we get there. We can justify any type of delusion depending on, you know, the twists and turns we take to get there. Can make a case for pretty much anything, which is scary. Scary.
Show up. That's what pulling means, right? Did we change what words mean?
Okay, also I feel like Timothy has a thing for like hot brunettes. Like, so like, you know, I'm no Kylie Jenner, but like give me 5 years in a BBL and like maybe I can get there to be his type.
Also, people in that industry, they often get together in relationships with people who can help their career. Also, notice Kylie Jenner. He was in a long-term relationship with her. This was not a what Homath is defining as pull situation. Women don't use the same definitions.
You don't have to be a man's type to pull him. You're talking about conditions to be seen with him in public. That's not what pulling means, is it? Okay, who else do you think you could pull?
Yes.
Okay, second one. This is insane. Ross Lynch.
Okay, Ross Lynch is in here, so I'm immediately believing it. I don't know who Ross Lynch, I don't know who Timothée Chalamet is either. So that's not insane at all. What's insane is that you seem to believe that you could offer a man, celebrity or not, a short-term secretive relationship, and he's going to go, nah, you're not my type. I have better things to do today. The kids are not all right. Women don't know what men are. Men do not have high standards for short-term secret little...
Women aren't talking about the short-term secret thing. She's talking about a relationship that she would get photographed and, you know, interviewed and stuff like that. A relationship that would raise her status. She just said she had been a theater kid, right? And that she would use that to like have something in common with him. Sounds like it's a great way for her to break into the industry, isn't it? See, women pay attention to these weird, irrelevant details that often frustrate men because it's like, no, that's not the point. And I get it. But also, this is why we're very good at sort of communication and noticing things. We're supposed to be noticing if someone's not well, if someone's sick, in order to take care of them. But we are good at noticing that. So she was a theater kid, right? You don't think that she thinks that this will raise her status and provide new opportunities if she's Timothy Chalamet and whatever that other guy's name is, girlfriend, photographed on the red carpet, going to premieres? Sounds like the type of life she probably always wanted and never earned or never got or whatever.
Flings, you're thinking of you. Women have high standards for short flings. Men need you to basically just show up and be somewhere in the top half. This is not the dunk you think it is.
There's a reason.
There doesn't need to be. She goes on about this for a while, but I think I made my point. If you are a reasonable attractiveness woman, you're not scoring any points by sleeping with a celebrity. You're not even pulling him. He's pulling you. You don't pull, you get pulled. And it's not going to work out great for you either. This is you now. I'll just estimate. This is you now. I want to pull Timothy Chalamet, okay? And then this is you after. I can't look at anyone who would actually date me. Men are not women. Women are not men. This doesn't work the same way. It is absolutely believable that you could swan dive into Timothy Chalamet's sweeper pile. I actually have a video about it. It's called Don't Do It, starring this person. This is her over here. Go watch this video and learn something.
He does. He's a good teacher. He's a good teacher, but there are moments where I'm just like, okay, no, you're missing a little something. He might be missing it on purpose. I don't want to say that he's not. But now the one that I thought was just too funny. It's also sad, but I'll show you guys. Remember what I said earlier about that whole promiscuity problem? And we were pretty much like blaming men for the situationship. This is that on steroids. Oh, golly. It's almost to the point where I'm like, is this made up? But I don't think so. And no, I cannot explain the glasses. I cannot.
So my 6 kids all have different dads.
Whoa, slow down. I'm trying to get a few minutes out of this video. You gotta save something for later.
And today, one of the dads came to pick up my son to take him to the beach.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
He knocks on the door and he's like, hey, I'm picking up, so-and-so to pick him up for the beach. And I'm like, okay, are you taking the rest of his 5 siblings? Because if you're not taking them, then he's not going.
Okay, now we're not getting anywhere. Today's red flag is egocentrism, which means basically whenever somebody is thinking or acting from these lower 3 levels, especially if they don't have any ability to move beyond them. A lot of people think that they understand psychology and they don't. They just repeat words they heard on a screen. That's why I'm trying to give you guys words to repeat, except
He does the best explanation of female and male psychology of anywhere I've ever heard. I think when you have degrees in it, you basically have indoctrination in the way they want us to think that we think, and the way they want us to think that how we get traumatized. And so they're not going to talk about what divorce does or something like that. So I think if you want to understand yourself, listen to HOMAT. But this is also, it's not just funny because of the siblings, but also him describing this level 3 thinking compared to level 8. And if you've ever been called a narcissist or controlling or whatever, pay attention, because I think this applies to you. Hopefully it'll be difficult to misuse these. A word that gets misused a lot is narcissist. It's also mispronounced. It should be narcissist. The guy who fell in love with his reflection was Narcissus. The C is hard in Latin. Anyway, the word basically means egocentric. They'll say, my ex was a narcissist, meaning that he was a selfish jerk. He was egotistical. He was controlling. He was selfish. And here's the problem. Those are things that a narcissist would say about a more highly developed person. So someone who is egocentric will call you egocentric if you don't give them what they want. This happened to me when I was 22. I had a girlfriend who trampled all over my boundaries, and I said, I don't like that. You have to stop that or we have to break up. And she told me that I was controlling and selfish and abusive, but it was actually her. This is a common relationship type where somebody who's at level 5 or level 6 will meet someone who's at level 3, and they will think, well,
you're not a belonger. You're not like these conformist people in the middle. So you must be up here with me. Whereas in reality, they're down here beneath conformity. They haven't gotten through it yet. And I'm going to show you how to tell the difference with levels. But first, a quick reminder. I did a lot of reading to learn all this stuff, and I took a lot of notes. And my sponsor, Short.
The other kids are not my responsibility. I don't need to take them anywhere. And I'm like, well, if you want to take your child on whatever activities you have planned for the day, then you must include the rest of his siblings. It is not fair that you're going to take one child to the beach and then you were going to go fishing and do all these other activities and for their siblings to be home bored.
Let's stop right there. This refined young lady has 6 kids with 6 guys. One of the guys comes to take care of his kid. I don't know how he knows which one it is. Good for him. And then she says that he must also take care of 5 other guys' kids. That's sign number 1, because this is not something that's agreed upon in our society. This is not a rule that we have that you must take care of all of the children of your baby mama, but she said that he must do it. That language indicates that she thinks she's in control.
Right. And she justifies it by saying it's not fair to the other siblings. You know what's not fair to the other siblings? Having them all have different dads. Because some of the dads are going to be better than the other dads. Although I don't know if that's possible because they all have the female in common. But it's not him making it unfair. It's you. And you're trying to guilt him into somehow taking the rest of these kids. It is not fair that you've given them all different fathers. But that is going to play into exactly what he's going to say about level 3 now attacking that higher level, because they are saying a completely reasonable boundary, like, I think I'm just going to take my child.
Of all people and the whole world. That's control consciousness. And control consciousness is not a bad thing if it's inside of higher levels, but she obviously cannot get there. If she could, she would be able to take a second person perspective and think, what would it be like if I was baby daddy and I had to care for 5 kids that were not mine? She is not capable of doing this. That's why she says must. She confuses I want with you must. Those are the same thing at this level. Remember, scumbag Steve, it's cool for me to smoke in your house because it just is, because that's just the way things are. That's where her mind is. She has not yet grown to a level where she can understand that this is what I want, but not what you want. She does not yet understand that baby daddy does not want to spend his resources on another guy's kids. Baby daddy then says that the other siblings are not his responsibility, and she replies that that is not fair to the siblings. Notice that she has 0 recognition of what's not fair to baby daddy. That's sign number 2.
Or to what's fair to the siblings. For example, those are her children. You cannot put yourself in another person's situation, because trust me, it isn't just the guy that she can't empathize with. She can't empathize with her own children. If she could, she wouldn't keep adding baby daddies. She wouldn't put the first one in a situation like, okay, well, if this results in a baby, blah, blah, blah. No, there's none of that going on. And I hate to throw out words like Homath was talking about. We just throw out these words. So, I won't throw out the word sociopath. I won't throw that word out.
Let's continue.
So I told him, if you do not take the rest of his siblings, if you don't take all 5 of his siblings, he will not be going. And guess what? Now they're here in the backyard playing because he refused to take his siblings with him. And now my son is in the room crying because he thinks his dad is the bad guy.
What do you mean you got to say he's not going to go with you because you won't take his other siblings? And now he thinks his dad is the bad guy? Who put that in his head? Who put that in his head? This is exactly how we got here in this whole manosphere red pill space. It's this baloney. That is his child. That was his time with his child. That shouldn't even be a thing to even say. And you get to say no because you're not babysitting for me with these other random children whom you don't know, whose fathers probably wouldn't be okay with it. Also, not thinking about them, are you? No.
Did you catch all those? She said the siblings are here because baby daddy refused and not because of her. Then she said, my son, not ours, thinks his dad is the bad guy. He doesn't have to think that. You can tell him what you did.
Yeah.
One is not going to go to the beach while the other ones stay here at home not doing anything. That is simply not right.
Simply not right means it just is.
It's all of them or none of them.
It just is.
And in this case, obviously it was none. So now I'm the one that's stuck here with 6 children.
I think that's the real thing. Somebody didn't want to be stuck here with 6 children. Those are not 6 children. Those are your babies, woman. So what else were you going to do? Were you going to go make baby number 7?
This is a bad thing happening to me, not you. Bad things can't happen to you because you don't have needs. So that's how you recognize actual narcissism or egocentrism. It's not just when disagree, it's what I want, just is. So if you ever get accused of this dumb buzzword, here's what you do. You say, I see what you want. It's this, this, and this, right? And if she says yes, you say, well, I just don't want the same thing. And if she says that her way is right because it just is, then you're not the bad guy. That is second person perspective. Level 1 is what I want.
Brilliant.
Level 2 is what I can get from you and how I get it. Level 3 is what I can get from my world and network and how I can get it. And it's not until level 4 that you start to think, oh, what about what you want? That's right here, second person perspective. I'm personally working on 6th myself, but I'll explain that in an upcoming video. Don't forget to click my link. I've got a lot going on right now.
Yeah, he's doing the Lord's work. He really is. I know I gush about some of these creators because it's important what they do. His explanations are great because men need to know it's not them. They need to know it. And if they can understand it, then that'll help them get there. And if you're watching this and you're a woman, don't be the siblings lady. And don't think you're not just because you're not that extreme example, right? Really ask yourself, did he try to express his desires and you just said that's controlling? Because I think we do it all the time. I think you'll find women on TikTok just filing for divorce because, oh my God, he had some wants and some needs himself. And he absolutely had the nerve to express that. And that made him a narcissist. But it's not. Y'all aren't narcissists. And it's time you knew it. So I hope you found this slightly entertaining because once again, that's how we get through it. And yeah, so make sure that you protect your peace, you feed your souls. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.